Well, it's been the case pretty much for the entire winter, minus a few times that we've had warmer conditions. It's been cold in the east and warm into the west, too. So you can still see overall 50s to the west, 60s. This we're going to see some of it, even 55 all the way 40. It was 55 earlier, now 46 in Bismarck. That's going to be coming up our area here for tomorrow. Now, there's still quite a bit of cold air. You can see negative numbers well to the north in Canada. We're not going to get that, but we are going to get a taste of some winter-like conditions, more what you would expect in January coming this weekend. Really, it's a pretty decent jet, and when you start seeing this 3D look and you start seeing that red, you're looking at about 150-mile-per-hour jet stream gets coming down. This will be diving south tomorrow with the cold front, a dry cold front that is, but still it's going to be ushering in some colder conditions too, and we still have the jet overhead coming Saturday. That's going to help usher in a little bit of a disturbance that's going to come through, provide the snow for some areas, and then over the weekend it's going to kind of sit that way until we get to next week, and then things begin to change a little bit. That pushes off to the east. We kind of get what we say a split flow going in here with one jet coming from the south, one to the north. This one's going to provide a little bit more milder conditions for the second half of the week. Unfortunately, it also is going to provide more moisture and probably a system or two coming next week, Thursday, Friday. Looks to be more rain, but we'll keep an eye on that. But it definitely will be milder towards the end of next week, given that change. Tomorrow, a lot of areas in the 50s, except the snow-packed areas, especially northeast Iowa, just south of La Crosse, where you have probably over a foot still on the ground. That'll probably keep you in the 40s. Today, it kept you in the 30s. Tomorrow, 40s. So everyone else, for the most part, is going to hit 50. May not quite feel like 50 with that wind turning around to the west-northwest in the afternoon when that cold front comes through. These are your temperatures highs for Saturday. Quite a drop. In fact, not much of a change for some areas from their overnight lows. But overall, it's going to feel more like mid-January. And that snow, I'll show you primarily I-90 and further south. Less as you go further north. Pretty much not much of anything as you go all the way up to Rusk County. Now for Sunday, quiet conditions, dry conditions. For the most part, it's still going to feel like January. Mid-20s, a few areas may get closer to 30, but all in all, a cold weekend once again. Now, as we mentioned, the snow possibility, there's that disturbance right along the jet, as I showed you. It's going to start coming into picture probably some point sunrise Saturday. Just a very narrow band that's going to come through, just stay like I-90 across the west of the river, and then kind of dive south. Still a little bit of a question of where the band will actually orient it. It could go a little bit further north or south, but for the most part, it's going to stay south of I-90, come through the morning hours, and then exit for the most part by noon. So really, it's a morning snow for the most part, and then we'll have clearing skies going on Saturday night as we go into Sunday. That's the one that we're checking. Now, snow amounts, really right now, if you're south of I-90, you could pick up 1 to 3, but there will be a narrow little band hint right there that really you could see isolated spots getting 3+. We're talking 3, 4, maybe even 5 too. So that will be very narrow. So something like that. Definitely if you have travel plans out in that area, generally if you're going to Crawford County, adjacent areas in Iowa, something to keep in mind for some slick roads as we go through tomorrow morning. By the afternoon, as I mentioned, most of that is done with, but still, it's something to keep in mind for that area. Otherwise, we get milder next week, but as I mentioned, we get more active towards the second half of the week. With really, it's going to be mostly a rain event or a couple rain events. Could be some wintry mix in there. We'll kind of nail that down as we get closer. But all in all, if you like spring, you'll love tomorrow. If you like me, like winter, you'll like the weekend.
All right, so everybody gets a little something.
A little bit for right now. And that's what March is. Everyone gets a little day here.
Oh, yes. Thanks, Greg.